Hey everybody, this is the Viking Bear. I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into, um, I guess apartment prepping is the best way to put it. Sorry about the face, I got a little bit of Bell's palsy going on, which will hopefully go away. So if you see me doing a lot of blinking and trying to stress my eyes, it's just because they're out of focus. Um, it it kind of sucks. Not really sure what caused it, but I have my speculations. Anyways, I know a lot of people out there, you kind of live in an apartment, or maybe you live in a space where you just don't have a whole lot of room to do prepping. So, what I'm going to show you is kind of some of the stuff that we do on a regular basis. I'm trying to find my glasses. Hang on here, guys. Just different stuff that we kind of keep up with. Um, First and foremost, something that we do, we have a closet here, and I'll show you guys. Give me just a second. All right, so we have this closet here that we keep a lot of our medical stuff in. It's also got some emergency stuff in that we use. Another thing that we do is we keep tubs. We keep empty tubs. Those are quick grab and go. So if we have to, if we have a little bit of time to fill some stuff up and then head out, that's what we use. Um, this here is some emergency foods. We always keep at least one tub of just dry good foods that are good for a long time. Um, and if you live in an apartment, you can store these in a closet. This closet shouldn't even be open. As you can see, we're kind of in our son's room. Um, we do keep some stuff stored in there, um, but we have several closets, and that's where we keep a lot of our stuff stored. And another thing we do is, we have leatherworking goods. So we kind of create stuff that helps us in our preps. And one thing, that I think a lot of people kind of misjudge, there's our water. Nice little desk that we do keep some emergency supplies in. We've also got our canning goods in there. So when we're ready to start canning. One thing I think a lot of people don't really think about, whether you're living in an apartment or you're living in just you're just renting out a room, there are ways to prep. There are things you can do, even on a small scale, that can prepare you for any kind of event. Rather, it's something where you lost your income and you don't have money to spare for extra food. We have our kitchen here that we keep stocked, but you can see all the cabinetry back behind me here. I'm not going to show you what's in it because I don't really want people seeing exactly what we have. But I will tell you that we do keep it stocked. There's plenty that you can do, even if it's just taking $10 a month or $10 a week when you go do your grocery shopping and getting a couple of extra dry goods. Whether that's canned goods, whether that's dry milk, whatever it may be, just make sure that you're preparing. As far as good, beyond goods go, gear, things like that. Look into buying batteries, flashlights, candles. My wife keeps and has, if I can move my big head out the way, I don't know if you can see it, but we usually have a candle sitting on this little desk. Yeah, you can see it right there. So we at least have one candle sitting right there. I've got a coffee table in front of me here that's got a candle sitting on it, and we've got flashlights. If something happens, if it's just a power outage, go and make sure you have that stuff because you don't know how long the power is going to be out. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 hours, you could be out of power for 5 days. You know, and there's simple stuff, drill. Do mock things. For instance, last night, me and my family we did a mock power outage. So we literally sat in the dark with just candles and flashlights for a full hour. The first 20 minutes was getting everything together. So that was making sure that we knew where our food was, our emergency food in case we didn't have food in the cabinets, making sure where the flashlights were, then getting the candles together. There's so many things that can be done from a prepping standpoint. One of the things that we're big on is, as you see right there, water. Bottled water. Even if it's not bottled, then it's gallon water. Find a way to store it. If you have a linen closet that you don't really use a lot of, the space, use that as your prepping pantry, as they call it. Just look for whatever you can do to prepare yourself or your family for any kind of major event or minor event. If there's a severe storm in your area, even if you're living in an apartment, you can never guarantee that you're always going to have power, that you're always going to have access to the internet. So one thing you want to do that I always keep right beside me is one of these things, a book. I have, and we have, a cabinet, a literal closet full of books. That way, if the power's out, even if it's at night, you can read by flashlight. You can read by candlelight. So, have things that you can do that don't require electronics of any kind. I work on Warhammer miniatures. It's my big hobby. I don't really do much else right now because I'm not working. I'm going to college. So my hobby is Warhammer, and I read. Those are the things that I do to keep myself busy during the day that takes me away from the electronics. I have my computer system. It's pretty high dollar. I built it myself, and I like having it. But I know that I'm not dependent on that thing. I do things that involve going outside. Yes, I live in an apartment complex, but I can go for walks. That keeps my health up. That helps my wife whenever things go crazy and I have to be the able-bodied one. And it teaches my son to stay away from the electronics all the time. I limit him just like I limit myself on the electronics. So find the ways that you can to prepare, to help your family prepare in case of an SHTF event. And that doesn't have to mean, end of the world, apocalypse, society's collapsed. Those events can be something minor. Somebody's down medically for a day. That could be considered an SHTF event. Because maybe if that person's down for the day, because they're sick, or, the issue I've got going on with Bell's palsy makes it to where I don't really talk a lot. And unfortunately, this is the most talking I've done in the last few days. So you guys are getting a little bit of a treat. But, just if an event happens, it's a loss of income. Maybe you're down food for a couple days. You're down to the bare minimum. If you have a stock of food for those emergencies, well, now you don't have to worry about, how am I going to feed my family? Or how am I going to feed myself? You've got to think of that if you don't have a family. And I know not everybody out there does. I'm looking at this from the aspect of a father, a husband. How am I going to make sure my wife and my son are well fed? As well as myself, because I have to keep my energy up. I'm the able-bodied one. My son's young. He's 10 years old. He's growing into his strength, but he still has a lot to learn. My wife is disabled. She can't lift any weight. Not really. She walks with a cane. She uses a wheelchair most days. Not really around the house, because around the house she has stuff she can hold on to and walk around if she needs to. But she has her cane. She has crutches in case there's really bad days. She does have those. So look for the ways to prep, even living in an apartment. Whether it's a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, whatever it may be. Look for whatever it is that can help you guys. Start buying small things. Go buy matches. Buy candles. Those things are cheap. Even in today's economy and the inflation that's going on, those things are cheap. You can go buy a stack of matches from Walmart for like $1, and it gives you like 4 or 5 boxes. And buy several of them. Spend $10 and buy a bunch of matches. Buy lighters, buy candles. Um, if you want to get into canning your own food, buy canning stuff. I live here in the state of Colorado, and we can buy canning supplies. It's a little expensive. It's usually $10 for a pack of 12 pint jars, but it comes with lids. You can find this stuff on Amazon too if things aren't crazy. But start doing it now before people start buying all kinds of stuff up that's just ridiculous. You know, Toilet paper. Buy it now, guys. And don't buy 30 packs. Buy two big packs. My family, two big packs of, like, I don't know, 8 to 12 rolls will last us 6 to 7 months, if not longer, depending on what we're eating. And that's another thing. Don't go for junk food. It's nice to have those savory kind of foods, those foods that are, oh, it's really good just to snack on. Don't. Don't get too much of it. Get the food that's going to last. Stuff that's not only going to be helping with morale, because that is a thing, but also is going to keep you and your family fed for a long period of time. Dry goods are a strong thing. And even if, like me, you're diabetic or you have some other restriction on your diet, you can still get good food that is going to last you a while. Yeah, you got to stay away from normal pastas. Get veggie pasta. Sometimes that veggie pasta will last longer than your normal pastas. The cauliflower rice. Personally, I don't like it, but I know it'll last. And that's the thing, is finding those foods that fit your diet that will last you and your family for any period of time. You want to also make sure that when you're stocking your foods, you're rotating. Pay attention to your dates. Rotate everything as best you can. If it's at its expiration date, get rid of it. But also, some things you got to be careful on too, because it'll have an expiration date, but it'll last way longer. Or it'll have an expiration date and it's already gone bad. Just pay attention to your stock. Check it. I check mine about once every 2 weeks, just to double check my expiration dates, make sure everything's still good, you know, and see if there's something I can rotate in that we can use as a family. Always make sure to replace with new. If you're living in an apartment or a small space, look into getting a deep freeze. It can help keep meats and breads to where they'll last longer.